The Bayelsa State government has faulted the claim by the federal government that the state is not one of the top 10 states affected by the recent flooding recorded in many parts of Nigeria. The Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, Sadiya Umar Farouk, said Jigawa is the most affected state and that Bayelsa is not in the top 10. In an interview, Bayelsa State Governor Doyodiri speaks on the need to find lasting solutions to the perennial flooding across the country. Here is his reaction.
The magnitude of flooding in my state is even beyond only the ecological funds. Yes, as our own contribution, if that is going to save my state, we'll be happy to let go the ecological funds that are coming to my state. But I believe that the magnitude is beyond only ecological funds. And the federal government and the state government will have to sit together to see how much more the federal government can contribute to the state governments, and then who and what companies will be able to handle the solution, a permanent solution. I wouldn't want to preempt what the Post-Flood Management Committee, which is headed by my deputy governor, will come up with. You have seen the level of damage to not only state facilities, even to federal government facilities. The other day, the chief of air staff was here, and the whole of their place was equally flooded, So it will be colossal sums of money. I cannot sit here to predict how much that will be, it will be gulping.
All right, Ayodele, let me come to you quickly. Bayelsa State claims that the data used by the federal government to arrive at that conclusion is erroneous. What do you think?
I didn't hear your question clearly, but I think you were asking what my take was about the Delta State government's position on how the government has handled the flooding. To be honest, I think there's enough blame to go around, because first, the arguments being made by some of the governors of the most affected states is that the ecological fund that they've been receiving over the years couldn't have been enough to mitigate the tragedy that has befell these states. To some extent, that argument might hold water, given the catastrophe that we've seen in the last weeks with the floods that have happened most recently. However, it would seem to me that many of these states that have been vulnerable over the years haven't invested adequately or haven't used their ecological funding judiciously to be able to, at the barest minimum, mitigate some of these challenges in a way and manner that they will not be totally reliant on the federal government. And on the part of the federal government, it will seem to me that the federal government has not muscled enough resources or treated this issue with the seriousness that it deserves. And this is not just about allocating federal funding to the affected states. It's about leading from the front. If this kind of tragedy or crisis had happened in any other sensible democracy in the world, you would see the president and the federal government leading from the front, mobilizing resources, mobilizing citizens, mobilizing non-for-profit organizations, religious organizations, corporate organizations to donate, to send help to the affected states, to pull people off from this devastating outcome of the floods.
I'm so sorry to cut you short there, Mr. Ayodele, but unfortunately we are out of time. Thank you for your contribution, but quickly, in 30 seconds, how would you describe generally the response of the federal government to this issue of flood?
It's been very appalling, and I feel they should do better, even though, as I said, there are a lot of blames to go around. The state government should channel the ecological fund, because we're still going to, next year, there's still going to be flooding. So I think there should be a more proactiveness on all tiers of government, both the local government, the state government, and the federal government, in order to mitigate such disasters in the future.
All right. Thank you very much for joining us, journalist Maiwa Oladeji. I'm so sorry. And as well, thank you for joining us, political analyst Ayodele Adio. Thank you.